must be registered under the customer tenure system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Tune in to Ground Zero on UBC Radio. We discuss politics.
The money we collect as taxes in the country, we lose it in corruption.
Economics.
The 4 economic sectors where their jobs and wealth are: commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT.
Education.
The classes which will not need an abridged curriculum are the entry-level classes of P1, Senior 1, and Senior 5.
Culture and religion. And other areas of human interest. Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio. Don't miss. Tune in to Ground Zero on UBC Radio. We discuss politics.
The money we collect as taxes in the country, we lose it in corruption.
Economics.
The 4 economic sectors where their jobs and wealth are: commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT.
Education.
The classes which will not need an abridged curriculum are the entry-level classes of P1, Senior 1, and Senior 5.
Culture and religion. And other areas of human interest. Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio. Don't miss.
Welcome to Ground Zero Season 2, a show that brings you in-depth discussion ranging from politics, health, finance, sports, and so much more. Ground Zero Season 2.
Hello, dear listener. You're most welcome to this edition of Ground Zero. We're broadcasting live on 98 FM, UBC Radio. We're also live and clear on our radio stations, sister radio stations. We are live on UBC Western Nile FM, UBC Butebo, covering the eastern parts of this country. And also we're live and clear on Magic 100 FM. In case you don't have radio, or your frequency is not that clear, you can as well get us on YouTube live. Just type in UBC Ground Zero. You'll be part of this very great conversation. I believe this is a very important day that the Lord has made, and you and I must be glad and rejoice in it. We are yet having another important edition of Ground Zero this very morning. And I welcome you all, our dear listeners, on radio, and also our online audience, those who are getting us on YouTube. I want to welcome the brothers and sisters from the Muslim community who are celebrating Eid Adha. It has been great having this celebration, and I welcome you from that live coverage that took place in Fort Portal. And I congratulate the people of Fort Portal for being part of this great celebration. The day of slaughtering our sacrifices, and I believe every person ought to engage in this very important celebration and offer to the Lord. These celebrations of this year took place in Fort Portal Tourism City. This is UBC Ground Zero, and we are talking about things that concern the people of Uganda. We shape and discuss things that concern the future of this country, the present, and we also look at where we have come from as a country. Ampaire Amon Butega is my name, and this is UBC. Our aim is to educate, inspire, and transform you, the people of Uganda. We believe that we are who we are because of who you have made us be. Your number one radio stations. And we keep our number one objective of inspiring the people of Uganda. Today, we are talking about something different but special that needs our serious attention and concern because it concerns everybody in this country and our visitors. We are talking about money. We are talking about finances. We are talking about microfinance. We are talking about circles. We're talking about your savings and credit. We're going to look at who you trust your money with and who trusts their money with you. It is a very important edition that I believe, and we take a very great a moment to have much more time to research about our topics, and I believe that this one is also going to be important. We are looking at enhancing the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement for sustainable development. In the studios, it is a very big privilege and honor that I have been joined by a special team of guests who are going to break this down for us and help us understand how we can engage in the cooperative movement that we may be able to realize our sustainable development as a country. I have Mr. Robert Mbakibi as the Assistant Commissioner for Cooperatives. It is a very great privilege having you, sir.
Good morning, our listeners. Thank you very much for hosting me on this program.
And another gentleman that I have lived to admire. He has been on the forefront of inspiring the people of Uganda. It is my first time to see you, sir, without putting on that uniform. The man I'm talking about is Colonel Joseph Onata, the CEO, Wazarendo Sacco. Most welcome, sir.
Good morning, listeners, and thank you for hosting us. I hope we shall have a great time sharing with our people.
Important. We have another great lady in the studios of UBC. Is called Miss Ruth Mirembe. Is coming from Montinda Development Savings and Cooperative Limited. Mirembe, you are most welcome.
Yeah, good morning, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to UBC Radio. We shall be glad to share the knowledge we have on circles.
Important. I welcome you again, gentlemen and a lady, to UBC Ground Zero, and all our dear listeners for being part of this edition of UBC Ground Zero. Ampaire Amanobtega is my name, and I said before, we are looking at our topic which says enhancing the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement for sustainable development. Mr. Robert, what is that known as cooperatives? What did you do as a commissioner? We can start from there.
Thank you very much, moderator. I'm Pachivi Robert once again, are my names. I serve as commissioner, assistant commissioner for cooperative development, at the same time deputy registrar for cooperative societies in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Before we even go further, we need to understand what a cooperative is. I'll use very few words to explain what a cooperative is. This is an autonomous association of individuals who unite for a common cultural, social, and economic aspiration. Once they come together, agree on that common social, economic, and cultural aspiration, and go further to design how best they should do this. In accordance with the Cooperative Societies Act, once they get registered, then they are a cooperative society. In Uganda, we are privileged to have embraced a number of enterprises under which cooperatives are registered. The most common one today, as we speak, is the Savings and Credit Cooperative, with an acronym of SACCO. That is purposely for mobilizing savings and extending credit to its members. Then we have cooperatives in other areas of life, cooperatives in agriculture, we have cooperatives in dairy, we have cooperatives in transport, cooperatives in housing, cooperatives in energy, we have cooperatives in health, name it all. So these are all forms of cooperatives. Now, as Registrar of Cooperative Societies and at the same time Commissioner for Cooperative Development, what's our role under the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives? These roles are provided for under the Cooperative Societies Act, Section 2, which establishes this office of the Registrar and at the same time Commissioner for Cooperative Development. So we basically do two major roles, which are summarized as one is for regulation. That's when we are called Registrar of Cooperative Societies, and the other function is development. So those are the two basic functions that we do, and there are a number of small unit functions that we perform under this. For example, under registration, under regulation, we do the registration part of it. We, at the worst scenario, we do the deregistration of these cooperatives. We maintain the cooperative register and the cooperative information system. We are a one-stop center for all sorts of cooperatives in Uganda. We also do support, supervision, and monitoring for cooperatives of all sorts. We do inspections for compliance to the Cooperative Act regulations, specific cooperative society bylaws, and the members' objectives. We are charged with the governance of these cooperatives. It's our responsibility to ensure that these cooperatives are well governed. So among others, that's what we do. Then under development, we do a capacity building to these cooperatives. We do mentorship of these cooperatives, including the general membership in the cooperatives, the stakeholders of cooperatives, the managers, all staff of these cooperatives, and also the leadership of these cooperatives. We also do network and partnership linkages in line with the relevant or the interested stakeholders in the cooperatives. So all these are part of what we do, and many others that come along the way.
Okay, that's so much interesting, and it is very important having you on this edition of Ground Zero, because we need that information, and the people of Uganda need you in order to be educated and inspired. Kano Joseph Wanata, people have heard the Wazarendo. I've seen many people, including myself, yearning to join Wazarendo, but when we don't have that uniform on. What is that known as Wazarendo Circle?
Wazalendo Circle is a savings and credit cooperative society for the Ministry of Defense, established in 2005, and specifically to address the welfare gaps amongst our community, that is the soldiers and the people who are working under Ministry of Defense. It is a response or an intervention to the challenges of limited resources, but desires to do so many things. And for me, that one links to what we are doing today, enhancing people's capacity to embrace the cooperative movement. So we have grown over time. We started initially with the 30 members, with a share capital of about 33 million. And today we are talking about over 91,000 members plus a share capital of about 221.7 billion and savings of about 281 billion, with the total asset base of about 681 billion and a loan portfolio of about 643 billion thereabout. So that is Wazalendo Circle in brief. We have 19 branches spread all over the country, and 5 of those are cash operating, located in Bombo, Jinja, Kampala, Entebbe, and Mubende. And we are continuing to grow. We do both savings and credit. And basically, at the moment, we are a closed organization based on our common bond. And when we went to the AGM this year, we were given an opportunity to study the possibility of opening the common bond to allow Amon to come and join when that time comes. That is Wazalendo for you.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Ruth Mirembe?
Yeah. Ntinda Development Circle is one of the cooperatives in Ntinda, based in Ntinda. It was established in 2009. However, normal operation started in 2013. We focus on the youth in Ntinda, boda riders, taxi drivers, and market vendors. However, our cooperative is open. Soldiers can join, policemen can join, accountants, doctors are welcome. We are a loving team. Our motto is together we can. The nature and structure of our organization is basically looking at the low or low income earners, mostly those who cannot really get salary per month, but they are working. So literally that is what I can talk about Ntinda Development Circle. But we are joining Wazarendo too. But
Okay.
and as well, you're welcome.
That is interesting. I am glad that you're all allowing the police, the army to enter when they are not allowing you. But
Yeah,
anyway,
we are
they're working
allowing
on
them.
that. They're working on that. Interesting. We are glad to have you, gentlemen and a lady. This is UBC Ground Zero. We are broadcasting live on 98 FM. UBC Radio, we're also live and clear on other radio stations, West Nile Radio, Butebo Radio, and Magic 100 FM. We're also live and clear on YouTube. Just type in UBC Ground Zero on YouTube. You'll be part of this important edition of Ground Zero, enhancing the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement for sustainable development. Mr. Robert?
Yes, sir.
How are you different from Umrah? Because all you've stated before, they seem to be of the other side.
Okay. Maybe I need to give the listeners and the...
We can't hear you.
I can give... Let me first of all give some background to this. Cooperatives have been in Uganda since 1913. They started in the current day Mubendi. They have been here, and the part of regulation of these cooperatives has come on also changing along the way. Until 2016, the cooperative movement in Uganda has been regulated by the Cooperative Societies Act. But in 2016, and the Cooperative Societies Act is under the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, establishing the Minister for Cooperatives, the Registrar for Cooperative Development, for Cooperatives, and then Commissioner for Cooperative Development. Performing all the functions that I have mentioned earlier as I started this, my presentation today. Now, 2016, government enacts a law called the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions Act, Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act. This is the law that established, or that establishes, the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, the UMRA, that Amon you've just asked me about. And you're asking the difference between the Register of Cooperatives and then UMRA. The major difference there is the Registrar of Cooperatives establishes these cooperatives. And now what UMRA does is licensing these cooperatives. These are both government offices established under the different laws. Like I've informed you, Register of Cooperative Societies and Commissioner for Cooperative Development is under the Cooperative Societies Act. And then UMRA is under the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act. So basically, I think that's the major difference that is there between the Register of Cooperative Societies and UMRA.
I hope there was no power struggle between the commission, I mean the microfinance, and then UMRA. That's so much important. Joseph,
Yes, please.
Wazarendo, is it by force or it is voluntary for every man in uniform to be part of Wazarendo Circle?
First of all, our history will tell you that Wazalendo is a voluntary thing. The Wazalendo was really, like I told you, a response to the challenges that we faced. Arising from, of course, we all know that this country between 1987 and around 2001 was engaged in sorting out so many insurgencies that came into this country. UPA in Teso sub-region, LRA in northern, Holy Spirit movement, and then ADF in the western Uganda. Now, as the gun fell silent in most parts of the country, our soldiers started getting regimented. And therefore, they as they settled in the barracks, they started thinking about developing themselves and their families. Now, of course, that time the pay was low, and then we tried to partner with commercial banks and other financial intermediaries to assist our people, but the results were not good, in that the financing was very, very expensive in terms of interest and the charges that were involved. So that one helped us to mobilize our people and tell them, look here, we can do some of these things by ourselves. We can put our resources together, manage them well, and be able to deal with our issues of development and progress in our families and so forth. So it was education, mobilization, and sensitization that helped us to break the ice that was between us and development. So Wazalendo is not a dictatorship, for everybody must join, because as I told you, those numbers you see there, not everybody in UPDF is a member of Wazalendo as of now.
How come many are part of it?
There are some people who have not yet joined. Like any other society, there are those ones. We respond to issues differently. There are those ones who are quick responders. There are those ones who want to see something good coming out of it. Then they come and join. Then there are those ones who will wait until the last minute. I can assure you, this year when we paid a dividend of 1,635 shillings per share, and our share price is 15,000 shillings, very many people picked forms and joined. So it is like that, but it is not something that's forced to anybody.
If it is
it is our service that will attract everybody to come. I think that's the reason why even Amon himself wants to join, because you hear about the good things that we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if it is good as it is,
yes,
why not forcing every soldier to be part?
But you heard from
for their own good.
We heard from the definition the commissioner read to us here that it is an association of persons united voluntarily. So now we shall be acting against the regulation.
Dictatorship.
We shall be penalized by the registrar. We don't want to be deregistered for forcing people to join us.
Even when it is helping them.
Yeah, even when it is helping them.
Important.
Yeah, it's very, very important to free will. Okay. It is important to have free will for somebody to join.
Okay.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes, please.
How have you been able to mobilize the people who are low earners to develop them for the better of their future?
Yeah. As I said, Ntinda Development Circle started as an association, a CBO, Ntinda Development Organization. It was a group of 10 people who were, in our local language here, we call them kanabes, those who wash cars. So when they came together, they started saving 10,000 per week. Today, they were advised, CBOs don't keep money. So they were advised to open up or register a circle, which we did. So from 10, currently we are registering a number of 700 members. Plus, you find that most of the people are joining this circle because of the benefits they get after saving in the cash rounds. We save 2 times a year. We have people who save from January to December, and we have people who are saving from July to June. But you find that most of us joined this circle because of a friend. As I said in the beginning, our motto is together we can. So you tell your friend that come here, we have something that is beneficial, that is going to help you grow from step A to step B. We have members who joined while saving 10,000 and currently they are saving 200 per week. So because of the benefits they get out of saving and also being so transparent, we as Ntinda Development Circle, we are so transparent, we are so accountable, we are auditing our books regularly. So you find that people are so satisfied with our services. We have different circles in Ntinda, but you find that most of the people around Ntinda are running to become part of Ntinda Development Circle. So the benefits that we give our members attract them to us. And trust me, you, very soon we are becoming a bank. I don't know where Wazalendo Circle will be, but...
Moderator, can I respond to that? Wazalendo Circle will not transform into a bank. The reason is circles are self-help associations.
Yeah, true.
And we pursue a dual mission. We have the social mission and the economic mission. Now, when we transform to the bank, we are required to open to the general public.
True.
And therefore, we shall
Which you
have
don't
gotten
want.
outside our common bond.
Yeah.
The other one is that we shall purely be pursuing a profit motive. So as far as Wazalendo Circle is concerned, we do not see ourselves transforming into a bank because in any case, we are enjoying the services that our members could actually enjoy when they're bank. When we open these cash operating branches, we are enjoying the same service. So Wazalendo Circle will not transform into a bank. Wazalendo Circle will remain a circle. If we want to run a bank, we shall run it through our business arm.
True.
And run it there. But a circle will remain a circle, pursuing the other original mission of welfare improvement.
Okay.
We do not see ourselves becoming a commercial bank.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, Ruth, as you conclude on that.
So you find that when we were starting our savings group, most of us, actually me, I joined while I was still at campus. I started saving 10,000. I started working, improved my saving from 10,000 to 50,000 per week. Now 100 per week, meaning I'm seeing growth. Someone who could not, now me, I'm a lady and I can purchase land from that circle. You find that most circles, most money lending businesses look at making a lot of profit, but our members can acquire a piece of land at very subsidized prices. Piece of land that you can buy at 10 million, our circle is selling it at maybe 6 or 7. So we are motivating our members to become good citizens. Yeah, because of those different benefits they get from the circle, they keep coming, joining, inviting relatives, friends, and so on.
Okay. Interesting. Mr. Robert,
Yes, Samuel.
can you give us the overview of cooperatives in Uganda? Because Afande will praise there was Wazalendo Circle, and then Mirembe will also praise Ntinda Circle, Development Circle, and I will praise. But help us give that overview. How you see these cooperatives, these savings, these circles and other financial institutions. What are those factors that lead for their growth?
Thank you very much, Amon. I want to give a landscape of this cooperative movement in Uganda. In Uganda, I gave the background. I should not repeat this. But what the government has done is to set the environment ripe to enable the cooperatives thrive. By so doing, it has put legislation into place, which is very conducive, and that's why you find Wazalendo saying we shall continue as a circle. We don't want to transform into a bank. It has opened the doors, government has opened the doors to a number of stakeholders to work with cooperatives. And you don't know how many stakeholders have embraced cooperatives. We have almost all institutions in Uganda, especially in government, have embraced cooperatives. You've just heard from Kano Nata is telling you it was intended to address the welfare of the members. And indeed, the members are happy about this. You've heard Madame Mirembe here saying we are looking at the Kanabes improve their livelihood. She's proud that can buy land comfortably. So this environment has been set for everyone. This one has allowed the growth of cooperatives. The other aspect which has helped the cooperatives to thrive is the socio-economic aspect, or in other words, the business model. The business model that cooperatives implement. It's a socio-economic business model. As you are pursuing profits, you have to strike a balance with the social aspects. Are the members getting the benefits that they require? Are they getting the services that they require? Can they be supported when they need this kind of support? So this one has helped the cooperatives also to thrive, and very many people have joined into this. You will recall that cooperatives are close to the common person in this country. We have talked about the institution. You have heard about Wazalendo. I don't know how many people would be proud of the banks in relation to the Wazalendo Circle in their forces. You are hearing from Montinda Development Circle. These are people who cannot even go to the bank, by the way. So that kind of business model has promoted this as well. The various enterprises that are promoted by the cooperatives is another aspect. The principles that are upheld in cooperatives, open and voluntary membership, the member economic participation. A member feels is part and parcel of this institution. So all this is attracting people, and then also the government itself has now come to believe, as it has always believed, that cooperatives is the way to go. You have seen the affirmative programs government is implementing. We can talk about the parish development model. This is a model which has 7 pillars. But if you ask anybody in the communities about parish development model, we'll tell you about the parish development model circle. So you find that now cooperatives are very much pronounced almost in everything. You talk about the Myoga program, which is basically enterprise-based saving and credit cooperatives. The government is promoting these affirmative actions to try and attract those who cannot be served by the formal commercial banking sector to access financial services through such interventions. This is very key. The number of stakeholders who are coming in to support cooperatives, I mentioned earlier, but government is taking lead in this. You go to any government gathering or where there is a government official addressing a community, will not conclude the speech or the address minus talking about cooperatives. This one is being seen to bring us back to our lost glory. I need to inform Amon and the listeners that these cooperatives built the cities we are proud of today. You move to any city, it has a background to the cooperative movement. Name many of these new cities. Talk about ginger. We have soga growers. It promoted ginger, Kamuli, Iganga, and the others. Talk about Mbarara. We have Banyankore Kweterana is very strong, as that background is very strong, inclined to that. Talk about Lira. There is a Lango Cooperative Union. So name it. Even Gulu, there is West Acholi, Kitugum, East Acholi. All these cooperatives built this. So people are only getting back home into their cooperatives.
Okay, that's one interesting. Joseph.
Yes, please.
I was so much bothered and concerned about your statement.
Which one?
That you don't want to be a bank. Who on earth doesn't want to be a bank assured?
Okay.
Are you in one way or the other not dodging some costs that may come along with that? Or you are seeing some opportunities being taken by civilians and that will be put pressure on the men in uniform?
Not at all. Okay, allow me to respond to this. You see, one of the biggest mistakes that our people make is to think that they can be better served by commercial banks than SACCOs. Let us look at the statistics. In Uganda, there are 26 banks or 27 commercial banks.
Something like that.
Something like that. If you look at the cooperatives, in 1986, we had 5,451 cooperative societies in this country. By July 2022, we are having 30,977 cooperative societies in this country. Now, I will not be moving. Okay, 37,621 cooperative societies in this country. Now, Wazalendo Sacco cannot be moving from a bigger movement to a smaller movement. Strategically, if you are a thinker, where is the focus of government today? If government is focusing resources in ensuring that cooperatives are developed up to the lowest root level, the parish in this country, it would only be somebody who does not analyze situations, who is also a strategic thinker, to run away from where government is putting effort and the benefits that are there to go to the other side where there is generally a structured and a limited number of members. That is number one. Number two, like I said, as a SACCO, we are able to enjoy all these facilities and the services that we need from a commercial bank. For the last, I don't know how many years, I last took a loan from a commercial bank in 2003. That's the last time I took a loan from a commercial bank. I have done all I've done by taking loans from Wazalendo Sacco. And I have not seen any deficiency. We have enough money to lend to our members. I do not need a collateral to be given a loan. I only need my salary to be going through Wazalendo Sacco and I get a loan. We are not scared of charges because in any case, apart from the tax waiver on the income that we earn, we pay these taxes in one way or another. We go to the same markets where we pay VAT. We go to the same we use the same water where we pay VAT. We use the same electricity. So we meet these taxes in one way or another at individual level. But as a SACCO, there are benefits that come with being a member of the SACCO. I want to take you to two principles of cooperatives. That is the principle of education, training, and information. I have not seen where other financial intermediaries and institutions have gathered their members that today I'm talking to you. But in the SACCOs, every time, every now and then, we mobilize our members, talk to them under that principle number 5 of education, training, and information. I also want to touch the issue of cooperation among cooperators. It's a principle number 6 of cooperatives that empowers us to cooperate amongst ourselves. So I cannot move from this movement where I am properly knit with others to develop others. You commented that I will talk about Wazalendo and Ruth will talk about Ntinda Development Circle. Not at all. We view ourselves as people pursuing the common objectives and the same goals. We are never in competition at all. So we address the same issues using perhaps different vehicles. That's the difference. But becoming a commercial bank, not necessary for Wazalendo Circle.
All right. Ruth.
Yes, please.
You must know, or you believe and agree with me, that the youth in Uganda form the biggest percentage of our population. How is Ntinda Development Circle or other circles helping the youth to engage in these circles and develop themselves?
Yeah, right. Now, specifically I will speak for circles as a whole. Yeah, you find that in this generation, we have been in schools where lecturers have been teaching about financial literacy, financial inclusion, but practically, youth can only notice that they are now included in what they used to call financial inclusion while part of a given circle. So, you find that, let me, for example, give an example of the society that I know most in Ntinda. Most of these people who are driving taxis, most of these people who are driving borders, most of these people in the markets are mostly youths. Some of them are school dropouts, started a small business, and they are continuing with their lives. Some of them went to school indeed, and they are not employed. But they have something small they make for a living. So me as Ruth, I'm a SACCO treasurer. Someone will come and meet me, ask me, what will I gain when I join your SACCO? I will explain to them, and I tell them, today you're earning 10,000. Tomorrow you will be able to earn 200,000. How? You start in bits. Save your 10,000 today, get interest at the year end, engage in all SACCO activities, create your network, because you're not one in the SACCO, you're many. As you're struggling here, someone wants to maybe take care of their sick mother. As Afande told us that with a SACCO you feel like you're together. With banks you feel like you're detached. You only meet a banker when you want to deposit your bankings and withdraw your money, or maybe fix your money. But with SACCOs, you find that at the year end, it's like a party. So you feel like you have another family without a family. We have people who have grown up in maybe polygamous families whereby they have been tortured. With SACCOs, you find that you will get mothers, you will get sisters, you will get brothers. Now, when you have this sense of belonging in a community, it is easy for you to start thinking in the same way like other youths are. If you see another youth having a car, you will ask them, how did you achieve this? They will tell you, this is how I got my car. I'll give you an example of my little sister. I told her, if you want to get a car of 10 million in 1 year, it requires you to divide per month, how much am I going to save to achieve that target or that goal of 10 million. So you ask yourself, what am I doing to enable me achieve what I want? So with a SACCO, you can ably get what you want in a very short time possible, because you know that I'm going to get a loan. It requires me to pay it on time so that I can continue to grow.
All right.
Yeah, something like that.
Interesting. This is UBC Ground Zero. We're broadcasting live on 98 FM, UBC Radio. We're also live and clear on our sister radio stations, UBC Butebo, covering the eastern parts of this country, Western Nile FM, covering the Western Nile, Teso, and northern part of this country. And we're also live and clear on Magic 100 FM, the source of entertainment, and also live and clear on YouTube. You just enter UBC Ground Zero and you'll be part of this conversation. This is the first hour of Ground Zero, and in the next hour we're going to get your calls and share your opinions and ideas on what you think needs to be done to make sure that all Ugandans embrace the cooperative movement for a sustainable development. We all need to develop as a family. In the studios, I have Robert Mpakibi, is the Assistant Commissioner for Cooperatives Development. Colonel Joseph Onata is the CEO of Zarendo SACCO. Ms. Ruth Merembe is coming from Montinda Development SACCO. Ampaire Amon Ortega is my name. As we go on, Mr. Robert Mpakibi.
Oh, yes, please.
Are you not concerned that you have been overwhelmed by the numbers of SACCOs? Joseph has told you that they are having 19 branches. And there are so many SACCOs, as you mentioned, some in the northern part of this country, others in east. Are you not overwhelmed by the numbers that you will not reach a point where you cannot regulate or control them?
The answer is no. We are not overwhelmed. And indeed, we are proud that we are at work. When you see these numbers, Joseph, he just gave you the statistics, what the situation was in 1986, and what the current situation is 2022. So we are not overwhelmed. In fact, we are happy that we are at work. We are doing our best. We cannot say that we shall fail to reach them all. Government is structured, the government of Uganda is structured in two aspects. At the center, the government sitting in Kampala, that is the central government. We have the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives that is responsible for these cooperatives, and specifically the Department for Cooperative Development. This one is well staffed, and the staff are well competent to handle this. But then across the country, we have the local governments. Wherever you find these cooperatives, and even where you're also finding the branches of Wazalendo, we have the district local governments. We have a Department of Trade, Industry and Local Economic Development. It's the one where we have cooperative officers, are the one responsible for the regulation and development of these cooperatives. We work hand in hand. At least in every district, there is an officer responsible for this function. In every city, there is an officer responsible for this function. In every municipality, there is an officer responsible for this. In some town councils, there are officers responsible for cooperatives. So in terms of staffing and staff competences, yes, there could be a few gaps in the staff competences at the local government level, but these are gaps that are being built up to be covered. But then I also want to inform you that as cooperatives grow, they become more conscious of what is happening in the environment. One would easily get scared that Wazalendo would run out of hand. But I want to assure you and the listeners that Wazalendo is very compliant on all aspects.
Because they have that military discipline, perhaps.
I like that. Also, what we should not underlook is the fact that as you develop, and by the way, you cannot develop if you are not following the rules of the game. You need to follow the rules of the game for you to be able to develop. But much as there could be the military aspect, how about in the development? Maybe because they are also recruiting everyone, including police, army, and what they have, as she has said. But the most important is that if you are to develop, you have to follow the rules of the game. And this is what is helping these cooperatives develop.
Okay. Generally, the idea behind the establishment of SACCOs, I believe, is to promote savings and make credits available for the members. But my concern is, why is it that SACCOs have made it so difficult for members to get these loans? But for you, when you're saving, it is okay. You are welcome with your money. But when you need their money, it is very difficult. What is your advice, Bakibi?
You see, getting a loan is not a privilege. You have to qualify for this loan.
I thought every member qualifies.
Yes, that is the first qualification is membership for you to qualify. But then you'll need to know that the money you're taking is not your own money, but it's your brother's money, your uncle's money, your sister's, someone's money. And where you are getting this money from, they have a duty of stewardship. As I give you the loan, your sister tomorrow or the next hour will be coming for this money. So before I give out the loans, we'll need to ensure that you are capable of managing this loan and you are also having the capacity to pay it back. So it's not really very difficult, but like I mentioned earlier, you need just to understand the rules of the game. If I need money in terms of loan, there are policies and procedures in these cooperatives. We have always been emphatic on this. But the practitioners are here. We have Wazalendo here. I will also maybe make a comment on the same. We have Ntinda Development SACCO as well. We'll also make a comment. But what I want to clear before maybe I leave this point is that members should know, cooperators should know that getting a loan in a cooperative or a SACCO, you need to meet the minimum requirements.
Okay. Let's look at the accessibility of the loan. In Wazalendo, what are those requirements that an officer, not a colonel like you, I'm looking at a private, someone who has just joined the army and is 1 year or 2 years in service and would love to have some loan. What are those requirements? Or we are not supposed to know since we are not in uniform?
No. Matters of the loans in Wazalendo is a public piece of information.
Interesting.
And because we work in an environment where Robert here will want to know how we treat our members, this is not
as a regulator.
This is not confidential information.
Okay.
Because when they come, these are the basics they ask. In terms of loans, first of all, in Wazalendo Circle, we have a uniform approach to access to credit.
A private and a general?
A general and a private and any other, and a member of staff, they go through the same process.
But the amount that differs.
The interest rate paid is the same. The requirements for collateral for savings and share capital are the same. And loan is also the same, depending on your ability. So there is no segregation. And in cooperatives, that it is that principle of equity and non-discrimination. We follow all of those. So in Wazalendo Circle, everybody qualifies to the loan depending on your capacity to repay. We have different repayment capacities. So we cannot, by the way, for information, our loans, the interest is 12% for loans for 2 years and below.
2 years.
And below. And then 13% for the loans of 3
per annum.
Per annum.
Interesting.
For loans of 2 to 3 years period, up to 5 years. So we cannot say that now for you a general you'll pay 8 and then a private will pay 13. No, all of them pay the same interest rate. The share price is 15,000. Everybody buys a share at 15,000. Now the difference is we have two types of loans. We have what we would classify as consumptive loans. Then we also have what we classify as development loans. Now, for a private who has joined, the requirement is that you should first save for at least 6 months. That's when you qualify for a non-developmental loan to help you to settle basic needs in the home. And then after 6 months, now you qualify after 1 year in service and saving with us. Now you qualify for a development loan. By that, the reasoning is we save small amounts of money, and normally we factor our loans a factor of 4. We multiply what you have in savings and share capital times 4. We believe that substantially, after 1 year, you should have accumulated that money that can help you now to borrow a development loan.
Okay.
But like any other organization, complaints will always be there. Somebody will want to get a development loan just after 6 months. But these are issues. We have policies that guide lending. So when you bring a document, I will read to you a policy and say, but as per for our policy, you do not qualify for this facility now. You can qualify for this facility after 6 months.
Interesting.
And this is to instill discipline, financial discipline. If you don't instill this financial discipline, people can go wild. And perhaps that is what sets Wazalendo aside, because we stick to policy. Say these are policy issues, and this is how we guide our people. So there's no discrimination in our lending at all.
Interesting. Ruth.
Yes.
Accessibility.
Yeah.
Of the loan in Ntinda Development Circle. How easy or difficult is it for someone, for a youth, for a woman, for a widow, for a member to get that loan?
Actually, I will say that it all goes back to following the policies that we have in the organization. If they tell you that you want to get a business loan, but before you secure that business loan, you have to satisfy the following regulations.
What are those requirements that you go?
Like, for example, currently we opened up a business loan which can enable anyone, whether member or non-member, so long as you meet our requirements. For that business loan, we just need to get...
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Did you talk about a non-member?
Yes.
After the program, we're all going.
There is a program that we put in place to help those people. Of course, they register when they get a loan. They register, but the way they register, they do not get all the benefits that a full member gets, because they just need that small loan.
But they get that loan.
They get that loan
even when they are not members.
They're a member of a circle, not a member of the CBO. We have two things. We have a CBO and a SACCO. So this particular person comes and says, I don't want to be part of the entire association. So they register. Yeah.
Maybe Ruth, what you would help the listeners understand. What are your membership entry requirements?
Okay. Now we have two requirements. One can enter as a full member. They pay 80,000. That means they are both a member to our SACCO and a member to the CBO, the community-based organization. As I said in the beginning, our SACCO started by a CBO, which transformed into a SACCO.
I have come now, like if I go out of this studio and I come to Ntinda Development SACCO, I need a loan.
You need a
What
loan.
is that you will tell me to come with?
The only loan that you can secure at this point, you will register at 30,000 to become a member of a SACCO, not a member to the CBO. Then you will tell us that I need a loan. We have requirements, like for example, collateral security, because we do not know you. When you bring for us a land title, we have to go to Ministry of Lands to verify that land title, whether it is yours or not, such that we can continue in business. And as time goes on, because that thing has just started like 3 months back, but we see that many people are coming for such loans.
Apart from the business loan.
Amon, if you don't mind, maybe I will clarify on what they are doing and is saying is dealing with non-members. I think what Ruth is telling us is that for a new member can also access a loan. It's just trying to put a difference between
the nature of membership.
The nature of membership. That a new member, you can straight away access a loan.
Which is different from Wazalendo.
Which is different from Wazalendo, which is procedure giving
6 months.
6 months.
Okay.
But not necessarily the non-members.
Interesting.
Perhaps what I have to caution Ruth is that you need to be very careful with the new members, just straight away accessing loans.
Yeah, it is very true, but the difference is, now a full member, before 6 months they can't access a loan, because we are trying to evaluate their creditworthiness, and the nature of requirements are you have to have guarantors who are members for you to access that loan. But we said, because we are looking at different people in the community, there are those who do not really want to be part of this so-called organization, the CBO, and they just feel like they want to be part.
But I see a problem here.
In other words, you created a business arm.
I see a problem here. A member who is not a member of the SACCO has just come and registered and is able to acquire a loan immediately. But a full member who has been there, you are requiring
for
him
6 months.
For 6 months. This is going to create disharmony.
Are we not going all out of the CBO that we can?
No, because there are many. Okay, the requirements of this particular person. Of course, when I'm a full member, the requirements that I need to get a loan are totally different from such a person, and even the interest rate that this person is paying is totally high compared to someone who is a member. So automatically this person will come and register.
Ruth, given all those parameters, it's okay, but you know the issue is the mind. I have been a member for 6 months, 5 months, I'm not able to acquire a loan.
And someone who
Somebody
comes in
seconds, just registering with 30,000 with guarantors,
you get a million.
It's going to cause disharmony in your circle with the time. It is something you have said is 3 months, but it's something that you need to study carefully.
Interesting.
Otherwise,
this is UBC Ground Zero, and enhancing the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement. So for sustainable development, Mr. Robert Mpakibi is the Assistant Commissioner for Cooperative Development. Colonel Joseph Onata is the CEO of Wazalendo SACCO. Ms. Ruth Mirembe comes from Ntinda Development SACCO. Ampeire Amon Obtega is my name, and I'm glad that you're still part of UBC Ground Zero. This is the second hour of this edition, and we're going for a very, very short break. I pray don't go away, and when we come back, we're going to pick a few calls, and then you share your opinions on what you think needs to be done, especially in our SACCOs and other cooperative institutions or financial institutions. This is UBC Ground Zero.
This is Ground Zero live on UBC Radio. Stay tuned. Tune in to Ground Zero on UBC Radio. We discuss politics.
The money we collect as taxes in the country, we lose it in corruption.
Economics.
The four economic sectors where their jobs and wealth are: commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT.
Education.
The classes which will not need an abridged curriculum are the entry-level classes of P1, Senior 1, and Senior 5.
Culture and religion. And other areas of human interest. Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio. Don't miss.
This is UBC Radio.
Don't miss UBC Radio Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We host credible and relevant guests to discuss pertinent issues of national importance aimed at addressing people's concerns.
As a country, if we don't fight this vice of corruption seriously and with honest opinion without any bias, things will not be good for us.
UBC Radio Ground Zero, right here on UBC Radio.
UBC, ensure that the information you give out is factual but also objective, balanced, and complies with the legal and policy requirements for the media.
Ground Zero program is always live, loud and clear, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio, Butebo FM, West Nile FM, and Magic 100 FM, and live stream on YouTube. You can also listen to the repeated broadcast of UBC Ground Zero every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
We broadcast 24/7. Listen to UBC radio shows right here, right now.
Ground Zero program is always live, loud and clear, every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio, Butebo FM, West Nile FM, and Magic 100 FM, and live stream on YouTube. You can also listen to the repeated broadcast of UBC Ground Zero every Sunday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Playing Uganda's #1 hits. Keeping it home-based. You are listening to UBC Radio. As Uganda works towards Vision 2040, UBC Radio is dedicated to the development of Uganda. Join us every day for transformative programs in English, Swahili, and Luo. This is UBC Radio. As Uganda works towards Vision 2040, UBC Radio is dedicated to the development of Uganda. Join us every day for transformative programs in English, Swahili, and Luo. This is UBC Radio.
It's hot.
We passed it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the custodian senior system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Welcome back. Ground Zero Season 2 continues.
Welcome back from that very short break. This is UBC Ground Zero, broadcasting live on 98 FM, UBC Radio. We also live and clear on our sister radio stations, UBC Butebo, covering the eastern parts of this country, Western Nile FM, covering Teso, Western Nile and the northern part of this country, and Magic 100 FM, the source of entertainment, are also live and clear on YouTube. Just put UBC Ground Zero and you'll be part of this conversation. It is interesting that you are still part of us. Ampaire Amon Ortega is my name. We're looking at how we can enhance the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement for sustainable development. In the studios, I have Robert Mpakibi, is the Assistant Commissioner for Cooperative Development. Colonel Joseph Onata is the CEO of Zalendo Circle. Miss Ruth Mirembe is coming from Montinda Development Circle. It is the right time that you raise us on 776-511-426 and share your opinions about the same. I'm giving you only 1 minute each caller because our time is fast spent. The number you can call us on is 776-511-426. UBC?
Yes, Juma from Butega.
Most welcome, Juma.
Hello.
You're most welcome. You're live and clear.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning to everyone in the studio.
Good morning to you.
Thank you so much. And from the beginning of introduction, I was so much contented that I may choose among all those who are in the studio. I will go by Ruth. But in the way running, I got myself, I was going to get lost with the Ruth because CBO, you know, some of these institutional finances, they need this abbreviation to be properly like that person can understand where he or she may decide to go in order to acquire help concerning finance. And two, Ruth will have to organize again, rearrange again with you, Amon, to come back to studio. I total mess somewhere. You can't tell me that a senior could have a delay of accessing a loan, and someone who come from nowhere with 30,000 have access to a loan. That is biasness. Okay, I don't blame her herself because could be it is a principle within their.
Maybe that is their policy.
Their policy.
Internal
their
policy.
Yes, so they have to go back and look into that.
You don't want non-members or the new members to have the access to the loans?
So now, this one too.
As you conclude?
My point number two, it cut across to everyone there. Why do we prioritize for loans than first creating a good environment for someone to fulfill of being a member?
Okay.
Because now, when you advertise for a loan giving, people will be having appetite of going just to access to get money, and afterwards you will see things may not come true.
All right.
So I feel like sensitization is number one, and skills of mobilization to the community have to be number two. Then we get transparency. Land title which are still under issues, which are not yet fully sorted. Okay. At the end of the day, someone got maybe from maybe Kampala to Arua, then it is a problem. Then how are they fighting corruption within the system itself? Thank you so much.
Most welcome. This is UBC
Happy
Ground.
Happy Idi Ado, everybody.
Did you sacrifice?
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean,
UBC live and clear on 98 FM and other radio stations 776-511-426 and you share your opinions. UBC. You can call us again on 776-511-426 and you'll be part of this conversation. I am interested in knowing what other people in other places around this country, especially the rural-based circles, how they are doing their things in as far as saving is concerned. I'm also interested in knowing how they operate business. Is it the same way in town like the Ruth are doing, or not even Wazalendo, because Wazalendo is a bit different. I am interested in knowing that. Allow me get in touch with Mr. Mugume Joseph, who is the CEO, Ebo Sacco, which has dominated the parts of this country, especially in the western region. Online is Mugume Joseph. Hello?
Yeah.
You're live and clear on UBC.
Hello?
You're live and clear on UBC.
UBC.
Yes, sir. Hello? Oh, we've lost Joseph Mugume. I will engage him again, and he shares his experience as the circles which are best in the Lulu settings, and we also have their experience. Let me go back to the studios. We'll get the calls later on as fixing my line again. Starting with Robert as a regulator. How are you controlling these circles that they shouldn't be corrupt, as Juma puts it?
Thank you, Amon, and thank you, Juma, as well. How are we controlling circles that they cannot be corrupt? You see, transparency is one of the key values under cooperatives, and so is accountability. All this starts with the governance aspect of it. We are trying our best to put governance in order such that this governance can be able to do effective management and monitoring of the business of the members. In this respect, what we have done, we have changed the way we are constituting leadership in these cooperatives. We have now made it, we go through a vetting process to have the leaders, such that these leaders who are coming are seen to be members who have fulfilled the fit and proper test, and integrity is very key in this. So that's one aspect through which we are trying to manage corruption. Then the other aspect is to try and create awareness to these people to understand what they are in for. You see, not all corruption is intended corruption. Sometimes these are errors that are made by these practitioners. So we are creating awareness, we are educating them. 3, we are doing constant monitoring and support supervision as well. We keep guiding and inspecting whatever these cooperatives are doing, and we advise them. Some of them are brought to book. In some instances, we have sanctioned audits where cooperatives seem to be in a bad shape, especially as far as the liquidity management is concerned, and then financial discipline as well. But what I have to comment as overall is that corruption is a challenge to us all, and we call everyone to be party to the fight of this corruption.
Interesting. Kano?
Yes, please.
Have you registered any cases of corruption in Wazalendo?
Not yet. Not yet. But I wanted to comment on Juma's question. Juma asked that we talk about things that people don't understand, and he talked about the CBO. I think Ruth had clarified that the CBO means community-based organizations for the benefit of Juma. But I do agree with Juma that most circles tend to prioritize loans at the expense of creating an enabling environment. I want to agree with him. Even for us in Wazalendo Circle, when you are talking to people, the first thing they talk about is a loan. Now it is upon us as leaders to take them back to the basics. That before you pick a loan, you must first save. Because if you are to serve everybody, then we should have enough liquidity to address their issues. So it's true that we need to focus on educating our members about savings. That's what I told you at the beginning, that for Wazalendo Circle, before it was established, we did a lot of sensitization, telling the members the benefits of belonging to a circle and what they stand to benefit from it. So that one created a foundation.
I was going to ask both of you, coming from SACCOs, about the availability of that loan. Do you have the enough capacity to serve the people, all your members?
Yes, we do.
I mean, the Wazalendo.
Wazalendo SACCO, we have enough capacity to serve all our members.
Where do you get that money for?
I told you that we have two sources of our funding. Number one, we have our members buying shares, and these shares, like I told you, we have a share capital of about 221 billion.
Okay.
And so that one provides us with a good foundation, because this money we lend it out. This is money where you don't have to pay interest every month. We pay only dividends when we have made we realize the surplus. Of course, we don't work for profits. Now, the other one is that we have two types of savings. This is where members save an account called retirement savings. This money is not withdrawable until when somebody is exiting as a member.
Okay.
So those two sources of funds give us a good financial standing to be able to serve our members.
All right.
Yes.
Still, I will ask Ruth about the availability of that loan.
But
you said you have.
Amon, if you may allow me. We are discussing a topic where we are saying enhancing the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement. I want to take us back there. This topic alone presupposes that there is something which is done on the ground. Government has put the conducive environment for SACCOs to thrive. The Ministry of Education and the registrar have done their part. They have done the registration. Now, what is the missing gap? The missing gap is in the mindset change. That is where the missing gap is. That's why you see people, somebody comes to join a SACCO, and the first thing he's thinking about is a loan, without thinking about the savings element of it. So the biggest issue that we have right now to deal with, including these PDM SACCOs, Emyoga SACCOs, is mindset change. Because if people are going to look at the money that has been put there as something that they should take without necessarily putting something in there, we are going to have a problem.
And
so
the other thing,
our focus should be on mindset change.
How best can we use these platforms, especially the SACCOs, to engage in government projects like PDM, like Emyoga, which wants members coming from associations and SACCOs? Onata.
Of course, now when it comes to PDM, I think government should take advantage of these SACCOs which have grown and have development to use them as teams which can help to mentor the other ones. The registrar here talked about mentoring as part of their role. They can embrace SACCOs and we help them in doing some of this mentorship, because we've seen it all. We have learned, we have made mistakes, corrected them, and now progressed. So I think that is something that perhaps the registrar can talk about. If they can, you can liaise. We are available to share experiences with them.
How do you expect the government to help you as a SACCO, that you provide better services not only for your members but for the development of this country?
Yeah, I would maybe suggest that government should use already existing SACCOs, because in most situations where I hear government releasing funds to the community in form of maybe grant, I already see youth and people in the villages trying to make groups of 20 to get such monies. However, we all know that on the register we have registered SACCOs. So I would expect government to maybe get on that list of registered SACCOs, appoint some SACCOs that can represent maybe those teams, so that it is very easy to mobilize the resources. It will be very easy for government to be accountable for the funds that were released, instead of giving people money who are already hungry and they cannot account for the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Amon, would you like me to make a comment on this? Thank you very much, Amon. One.
Sorry, sir. I have Mogome online. Maybe I can get back to you. Hello.
Yes.
Very good morning.
Morning, hi.
Is this Mr. Mogome Joseph?
Yes, please.
You are live on UBC.
Okay.
You may greet the people of Uganda and introduce yourself.
Yeah, good morning, everybody who's actually listening. in at UBC Radio. My name is Mgume Joseph Kazova. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Ebo Sacco. Ebo Sacco is one of the leading financial cooperatives in Western Uganda and operating in more than 15 districts and having branch network of around 12 branches in this catchment area.
Okay.
We serve smallholder farmers and we bridge the gap of which has been left out by the main commercial banks, whereby these smallholder farmers were not able to go to commercial banks. So we came in and we're bridging that gap.
Interesting.
And we're happy to be with you today.
This
Thank
is
you.
UBC Ground Zero, and we are live on 4 radio stations covering the entire country. And we are looking at how best can we enhance the capacity of Ugandans to embrace the cooperative movement for sustainable development. In the studios, I have Robert Makibi, I believe is your regulator, is the Assistant Commissioner for Cooperatives Development. I have Kano Joseph Onata, who is the CEO of Azarendo Sacco, which I believe you be knowing. And also Ruth Mirembe is coming from Tinda Business Development Sacco. Ampaire Amanoptega is my name. And it is great having you on UBC Ground Zero.
Thank you.
Having known what Ebo Sacco is, how come we have, how long have you come to serve the people of Uganda? How long have you been in business? How are you mobilizing members and especially the citizens of this country in Western Uganda to be part of this cooperative movement?
Yeah, if I can briefly tell you about our evolution and history of Ebo. Our story is an interesting one because Ebo story and how it came to be was around in 1995, and during that time there were very many barrier societies in this area. So one of our member of that barrier society, who was a widow, and she was called Margaret Chiwaniko, thought for help to go for medical. She went to that barrier society seeking for medical kind of support, but the barrier society refused it because that was not their mandate. And she went back dejected, and incidentally she died. So when she died, that was the turning point when actually 3 wise men in this area decided to start Ebo Sacco as a Rosca, which is the precursor of VSLA. That was around 1995. Of course, with the other mandate, especially looking at how can they extend some small loans and also encourage saving culture within the members instead of relying on various societies. So that's how Ebo started around 1995. And later on, 2000, when I also joined, after I had left school, we legally registered it. And we have been in existence for the last now, I could say 22 years.
Interesting.
And I'm happy to say I'm one of the founder members because I'm a founding manager. And we have grown from scratch. By then, we started with the 15,000 Uganda shillings. But as I talk now, if you look at our total assets, we are actually approaching 50 billion Uganda shillings.
And how big is your membership?
Membership, actually, in total, we have 76,500 individual members. And also have groups, we work with groups. Groups are around 3,500. And each group has an average membership of around 25. So if you actually compute, the total membership can actually go now to 100,000 plus, including those ones who are in groups.
In which angle are you helping the people of that side? Is it in savings or extending credits?
Of course, our mandate, I said, as a savings and credit cooperative society, we encourage savings culture and also extend loans in form of agriculture, in form of business, social loans, also asset acquisition, So, and the most especially along the agriculture value chain financing.
Mr. Mugume, can we look at how easy or difficult is it to access a loan in Ebo Sacco?
Actually, ours is more affordable to get a loan because our terms and conditions are affordable and in line with the needs of our farmers. So it is not actually hard to get a loan.
What are some of the requirements?
Yeah, some of the requirements actually that mandatory. You must have a collateral. Because if you take more than 10 million, at least we require a collateral. Then more than 20 million, of course you have to get a title and mortgage that one because the risk is increasing. So we don't want to expose ourselves so much. But these loans of less than 10 million, those are non-secured loans. And even you can come in a group and offer solidarity guarantee. Then you'll be able to get a loan and go and do your work.
Without being in a group and without security, I cannot have a loan with Ebo Sacco?
I'm saying more than 20 million. That's when you need to secure your loan with either title or maybe chibanja.
Okay.
Or something like a mortgage.
Let's look at the viability of the loan. Are you able to serve all the people that come to you for the loans?
Yeah, because ours we serve all walks, people of all walks of life. More especially marginalized groups. Those are the women and the youth, and also progressive farmers who are also willing. So just what you need is to be a member of EBO by opening an account and then start saving. And then we have also relaxed the share requirement because we know it has been a challenge to many would-be grants because they fear opening and then purchasing shares. So we say, you just be a member, start saving. Then if you need a loan, we can actually look at your cash flows and give you a loan.
Is it true
then
that you are
shareholding and purchase? That one can come later if you want to be a shareholder.
Okay. Is it true that you're too harsh on the repayment of loans, especially for those who have gone far from the time that is prescribed to pay back the loan?
But I don't know what you mean by being harsh. But you know, this is a financial institution. Once you give out money, definitely you do want to see it coming back.
Okay.
And you can't just sit and fold your hands and then people default. Therefore, that decision will actually collapse. You need to be aggressive and make sure those who take money, they pay back, and then those who want again, they can also find the money is there and they take it. That's when the decision will continue.
Okay.
Because you know, the lifeblood of a financial institution is actually money. Going out and coming back. But if they take and don't bring it back, then therefore the institution is actually going to collapse.
That's why you're harsh. I know. Yeah, for the better of the institution.
Maybe you are failing to get a good word to use, but
for the lack of a better word. Yeah, you're true. How are your members engaging in government projects like partial development model or a MYOGA, which require circles? Have you been engaged in any?
Yes, of course, our members, they are the same. We live in the same community. Those who actually form the MYOGA, who also form parish model, they are actually the same. Okay. So they go there and they get money. And if they want to form also those who actually keep with us that money, they keep with us.
Okay.
We don't actually stop them from actually joining MYOGA because those are government programs, and we also somehow support these government initiatives.
All right. What do you need from government as a SACCO in order to embrace this cooperative movement?
Of course, first of all, that we need from the government is actually to give us conducive working climate by actually establishing enabling laws that support cooperative movement.
Okay. Any
That's
challenges?
actually the best. Then the rest, of course, these cooperative movements actually are private institutions. If they have that enabling environment and the laws, you can be able to perform and grow and become stronger.
Interesting.
Then if we need any other support, either in terms of financial support or capacity building, also government can actually come in and build our movement.
Okay. How have you found it easy or difficult to operate in rural settings?
Of course, rural setting has its own challenges. One being that there is lack of banking infrastructure, and with this, of course, technology, which is actually now main driver of business growth, you find it a challenge if you don't have that infrastructure, you don't have constant power supply, you don't have internet coverage, you don't have actually even road networks which actually go deep in rural. And as I said, really, we are trying to digitalize everything, our processes, our products and services, and we find all these channels that the delivery channels that are coming on board need stable internet. So that's a challenge in rural areas, especially. Otherwise,
and what
we'll
are
be
some
serving our clients better.
and
use
what
it without to.
Okay. And what are some of the opportunities that you have realized because you operate in that rural setting?
Opportunities in villages. Of course, in rural area, there are also a number of opportunities. One is that we have a growing population full of active people who want to access financial services. And these rural areas have been actually left out by main commercial bank.
Okay.
So that's a very big opportunity and potential for growth in rural area, so long as we have proper infrastructure.
Interesting.
Which we can actually ride on, and then our members can be able to access financial services. So that's a very big opportunity.
Our time is first spent, Mr. Mugume. We cannot go beyond this very minute. Maybe your last comment on that.
My last comment is that thank you so much for hosting me on this.
All right.
And I'm happy that I've talked to some people, but also I would encourage those ones who are listening in and outside Western Uganda can actually come and join us able. We are here based in Western Uganda and serving all types of people, all walks of life. So you are encouraged to come and join us so that we can actually develop our country together.
I was about to tell you that you send the advertisement fee, but it is okay.
Yeah.
Greetings to the people of Western Uganda.
Thank you so much.
This is UBC and we keep inspiring them.
Please.
Speaking to us online was Mr. Mugume Joseph, is the CEO of our Ebo Sacco, coming from the western parts of this country. Allow me go back to the studios. Our time is indeed first spent. We may be left to leave some untouched because this is a very broad aspect that needs even a week. Starting with you, Mr. Robert, you have heard from Mr. Mugume the opportunities and challenges operating in the rural settings. But before we go into that, maybe we'll bring in on our way forward. I was concerned about why government borrows money to the financial institutions at a low interest rate. And these financial institutions borrow the same money they have gotten from the government, which I believe government is the people, and they give the people the money at the high rate. What is the logic behind that? Are you promoting business in the country, or there is another science or the technology that you and I and another citizens need to be educated about?
Thank you very much, Amon, and the listeners. Indeed, that question is a big factor contributing to our topic of discussion today. What we are doing to enhance people's uptake of cooperatives. You've just shared this morning with the Wazarendo, the CEO, is here. He did just inform you that cooperatives are mobilizing own resources and are lending to themselves. This is the principle. Under the model of cooperatives, we promote self-sufficiency or self-sustainability. These lendings are only coming in situations of insufficient capital. That's when these ones are coming in. But nonetheless, government sources are not expensive. I want to inform you and the listeners that government has wholesale credit in the Microfinance Support Center. This is cheap money. And also under the Development Bank. Also there is cheap money for these institutions. In case of insufficiency in capital, they will need to approach these two institutions for that. But once they get funds from outside, it means they have to put a markup on top of what they are paying to the external sources. And the unfortunate bit of this is that they lose out on sharing that same amount, the principal. The original cost that they are paying out, they miss it out. Otherwise, if they use the original source, their own sources, all this interest will go to them and it will be low. You'd realize that if you are using your own resources, you will be at liberty to determine your interest rate. We have cooperatives lending as low as 8% per annum. So these are using own funds, and they are able to set these rates at that. But that aside, there are also other initiatives. I'm happy we have talked about the PDM and the Myoga here. And the question is, why do we need to open up again for the PDM, for other societies when we already have the existing ones? This is an affirmative action, especially looking at those who are not fixed anywhere, those who seemingly are discriminated in other forms. I'm happy Antinda Development is admitting everyone.
Okay.
But this one, when these programs come, they are like affirmative to try and include everyone. And it's one way we are trying to enhance the participation of the communities into cooperatives. But then before you turn me off, I just want to mention the CEO did mention here that government would be working with them who have seen it all to do the mentorship. This is the next level we are going to after doing these registrations. We have already started connecting those who are at the formative stages to the well-performing societies. But we cannot straight away link these PDM and Myoga to Wazarendo because they are at different levels of operation. So I'm happy Wazarendo has always opened its doors to other cooperators. I'm aware this week, last week, when you hosted Steady Fin.
Are you not wishing them the best in terms of development? Because we believe that PDM is something that every Ugandan needs. And if you are detaching Wazarendo, I did not think that Afande Onata would be happy.
No, we are not detaching, but we are saying it is not yet time for them to approach Wazarendo.
Okay.
The time is not yet ripe.
Maybe on that, Robert.
Yes, please.
The same government comes back and borrows money from the institutions it has given its money and borrows it at the highest interest rate.
Maybe before CEO comes in, I'm not clear on this.
I think someone is talking about the government buying, selling the treasury bonds. And the interest rate, I think, last week was at around 17.5%. I think that's what Robert is referring to.
Okay. Interesting.
But for me,
sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay, this is my thinking.
Let Ruth first come in. Yes, please.
Anata.
Yes, please.
I'm glad that you're not complaining that they have not included you in PDM.
No.
Maybe it's something that I will complain about after the program.
No, I can't complain.
Okay. I was looking at the main purpose of establishing these circles. I think the main purpose should be to reduce the exploitation of the powerless individuals.
Yeah, that is
by the other individuals, especially we had the most commonly known as kafuna. I start my office, I start borrowing money. But we have had the same exploitation even in the circles. What do you think needs to be done, Afande Onata, to reduce this exploitation in these financial institutions, especially the circles?
Allow me to say this, and I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart. The biggest challenge that we are having in the circles is that savings mobilization capacity is still very low. And because of the limited savings mobilization capacity, some circles tend to go and borrow
money
from commercial banks, unfortunately, in order to lend. Now, when they borrow from commercial banks, they are not able to control the interest rate at which they will give to their members. For example, if they borrowed money at 18% from a commercial bank, it is very clear that they cannot lend at anything less than 18%. They will also perhaps have to put in a markup to cater for admin and operational costs, maybe something like between 3 and 6%. So in effect, you are seeing a credit facility going for about 24 or 25. So the best way to solve this is members saving their own money, so that the proportion of the borrowed funds is maybe less than 20% of the total capital that they have. In so doing, they are able to cushion and neutralize the cost of the borrowed funds within what they have. And even when they have that capacity, they will now be going to microfinance support center and UDB to borrow, because the financials will be very good. So that is the biggest challenge that we have here. It is true, some circles are charging as big as 30%. And that is a problem. So the issue is the savings mobilization. But also it goes back to our members. They don't think about saving. They think about credit.
Getting loan.
They do not think about saving. They're interested in getting a loan. They don't ask themselves, where do we get this money from? So most of the circles, because of liquidity challenges, they run to borrow from even money lenders to be able to lend to some members. And I think that's where the biggest problem is.
All right. In the last few minutes that we are remaining with, I would love to get both three of you, your opinions about one aspect that Mr. Mugume pointed, digitalization of circles. Starting with Ruth, how are you able to put Ntinda Development Circle into this digital world? Because the world is moving into digitalization and technology. How far have you gone?
Currently, we have a system called Awamo. Awamo is an accounting package which can be accessed anywhere in the world. If I'm abroad, I can access my account. Now, our members, because we want to introduce to them this, they can access their bank statements on their phone using that app of Awamo. So in so doing, we are trying to digitalize everything that we do in our circle.
Robert, as a regulator, have you gone digital? We are still making phone calls to regulate the people.
It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid at the moment. We are in the process of digitizing, starting with the registry itself, and then we shall be moving on to start receiving these reports online and also be able to do the off-site inspections still online. We have quite a number of stakeholders that we are working with, including cooperatives themselves, to do this. And we are equally encouraging cooperatives to digitize, especially their operations, such that they can get real-time information to be able to be competitive in this financial sector, which is so dynamic.
All right. Afande Onata, how are you making the men in uniform have their hands off the trigger to the trigger of the keyboard? of the keyboard?
Now, we are dealing with a society that needs both the physical contact and the digital contact, and so we are having the hybrid. From the onset, I told you we have 19 branches and 6 liaison offices spread all over the country. And I also told you that we have 5 branches that are cash operating branches. Now, we are trying to ensure that we serve our members through the physical platform and then the digital platform. Now, under the digital platform, we partnered with the Post Bank
to give our members ATM cards. And those ATM cards are also viable on the interswitch with the 13 banks, where Postbank, which partner with Postbank. So our members can access, on top of Postbank, they can access 13 other banks, including Centenary, Orient, and other banks that are on that digital platform of the NTM platform.
Interesting.
Then the other one is that we also have the mobile banking platform.
Okay.
We have the mobile banking platform where members, we have the Wazalendo app called Waza Mobile, where members can go to Google Play Store or Apple Store to download and then begin using, register and then begin using. Then we also have the USSD code for non-smartphone users to be able to access our services. In terms of digitalization, all our branches are networked and we are using the Orbit R as software for banking and for core banking.
Our time is fast spent. We cannot go beyond this very minute. I would ask each one of you to give your final comment on this very important topic in just seconds, starting with Ruth as we conclude.
I would my remarks to all the youth outside there: kindly join a circle near you. If you cannot find one, join Ntinda Development Circle. When you reach Ntinda, it is the first circle everyone knows around there.
Okay. All right. Robert?
First of all, I would like to thank UBC management and Amon particularly for this wonderful time that you've given on to us. Thank you very much. You're a key partner. What we are doing to enhance now is continuous awareness creation and mindset change. We are doing all efforts possible to have this one done. We thank you as our partners in this whole struggle. And the other thing that we have done as government, and particularly the registry of cooperatives, is to keep our office open to everyone. We are open to everyone for any kind of service. We welcome everyone to do this. Let's embrace cooperatives. Cooperatives build a better world. Thank you.
Most welcome. Fande Onata, your final comment.
Thank you so much, Amon. First of all, thank you for giving us this platform to come and share our experiences with the community and the rest of the world. The other one is that I want to thank my colleagues in the studio for their contributions. I've picked great lessons from them. And to the community and the listeners outside there. Like the registrars say that cooperatives build a better world. Let's embrace the movement. Let's join cooperatives. Let's save. The only way we can come out of poverty and join the rest of the economy is through being able to join circles, save, borrow, and develop. And with that, I want to thank you once again for allowing us as Wazalendo Circle an opportunity to come and share our experiences with the rest of the listeners. Thank you very much.
Most welcome, and our time is indeed not our friend, and we are going to be forced to stop here because we need to give also time for other programs. I want to thank you, our dear listener, from the time we started up to now, and our online audience, and also our guests that spared their time to be part of UBC Ground Zero and educate the people of Uganda, but also inspire them. I must say that we must all embrace this microfinance because it is the new trend and a new method and a new way and the best option where all of us can tap into the opportunities to embrace the cooperative movement for a sustainable development, because I believe you and I have a contribution for the betterment of our future, for the better of this country, and interest is in microfinance has soared in the recent decade, and the instrument is now seen as one of the most promising tools to tackle poverty in the developing world, which Uganda, I believe, is part. From all of us at UBC, we wish you all the best. I want many thanks to our producer, executive producer Doreen Ndezi, MC Menta Allen. I worked with Bob Brian Mugisha. I worked with Hilary Katodebe, and most programs are coming on your way on UBC Red. On the journey with George Ngobi is coming your way, and to other radio stations, West Nile FM, Butebo, and Magic 100 FM are also having other programs. I pray that you go nowhere. Keep here. for other interesting programs. I want to thank and congratulate the people, our brothers and sisters of the Muslim community, and wishing you happy celebrations, but celebrate with that care. Be careful who you celebrate with and the time. Don't celebrate in the night, late in the night, because you don't know who your neighbor is. And Joseph Onata will tell you that security is important. And I wish you all the best from all of us at UBC. We wish you all the best for God and my country. Ampaide Amon Ortega is my name. See you next time.
That was Ground Zero Season 2, a production of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Tune in to Ground Zero on UBC Radio. We discuss politics.
The money we collect as taxes in the country, we lose it in corruption.
Economics.
The 4 economic sectors where their jobs and wealth are: commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT.
Education.
The classes which will not need an abridged curriculum are the entry-level classes of P1, Senior 1, and Senior 5.
Culture and religion. And other areas of human interest. Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio. Don't miss.